welcome. Good afternoon. In a little while from now, the bugle will be sounded for the big election of 2015. The election which many believe could set the stage for politics in the short term in this country. It's the battle for Bihar, one of the biggest polls in recent times, with lots at stake for all the key players. Remember, on one side, you have Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the BJP along with Ram Vilas Paswan. And on the other side, you have the Mahagathbandhan of Chief Minister Nitish Kumar, of Lalu Prasad, of the Congress, and possibly a small third front of the likes of the Samajwadi Party and the NCP. But there is plenty at stake for all the key players. And a little while from now, the Election Commission will announce the schedule. Ahead of that, let's just tell you who stands where in the battle for Bihar. Take a look at this. This is what happened 5 years ago in the 2010 election. The Janata Dal United had 23% of the votes. There was 16% of the votes that were cast for the BJP. Lalu Prasad's RJD had 19% of the votes. The Congress, which contested on its own, had 8% of the votes. Ram Vilas Paswan's Lok Jan Shakti, which contested in alliance with Lalu Prasad, had 7%, and others had a fairly large chunk of 27% of the vote. But it's interesting how these votes translated into numbers. Take a look at what we now have in terms of numbers in 2010. This is what happened. 115 seats is what the JDU won, and the Janata Dal United had contested 141 seats in alliance with the BJP. They won 115 of these. Take a look at what happened with the BJP. They contested 102 but won 91. That's a strike rate of over 90%. 9 of every 10 seats they contested, they won. Together, they won an incredible 206 seats. It was a landslide. 206 out of 243 is an absolute washout. And that's how Nitish Kumar became Chief Minister once again. Now the RJD, the once powerful party of Lalu Prasad, was reduced to just 22 seats in 2010. Others had 8 seats, and the Congress party was completely decimated. It had just 4 seats contesting on their own. So this, and the LJP of Mr. Paswan also decimated with just 3 seats. It was Nitish and the BJP all the way. But life has changed. Alliances have changed. Nitish Kumar is now part of the Mahagathbandhan, and it's the BJP which is on its own. Let's then take a look at how this arithmetic and chemistry is going to work out in the Bihar elections. We're going to take a look over the next couple of hours as the election dates are announced, just why this is such a critical election in Bihar, why this election matters so much in the state of Bihar. Joining me now is senior writer with the India Today, Jyoti Malhotra. Before that, let's just tell you what's at stake, because there's Nitish Kumar, there's Lalu Prasad, and there is Narendra Modi, the 3 main battlers in this battle for Bihar. And of course, Sushil Modi, who you can see there, who's the BJP's possible candidate for chief ministership if they choose to announce one. But Jyoti, we build up every state election. The fact is that this is the big election of 2015. It's been a year where there hasn't been a major election since Delhi, which was at the start of the year. What's at stake, you believe, for all the key players?
Rajdeep, you're absolutely right. I think you set the stage when you looked at all the figures, the percentages of the various parties. Also, last year in the 2014 general election, you know that the BJP swept Bihar and they practically decimated Nitish Kumar as well as Lalu Prasad Yadav. This time, in this Mahagathbandhan between Nitish Kumar, Lalu Prasad and Sonia Gandhi's Congress party, I think these 3 parties believe that they have the power to win Bihar, or at least get a simple majority. And the reason they are saying this is because they believe that Lalu will get his Yadav caste vote. They believe very strongly that they are within sniffing distance of power. And although they concede that Nitish will be the chief ministerial candidate, but they say कि remote अगर हमारे पास है, कोई बात नहीं, television अगर कहीं और है. On the other hand, there is Narendra Modi. He's not going to roll over and just allow this Mahagathbandhan to win. And therefore, if you've seen, he's done 4 rallies in the last month. There's been a huge rally across Bihar by the BJP. If the BJP wins Bihar, he will, both Narendra Modi and his man Friday, Amit Shah, the president, will consolidate their hold over the party. They will consolidate their hold over the country. So I think in that sense, Bihar is a very, very important political battle, because if the BJP loses Bihar, then the sort of the BJP could come unstuck. And after the Delhi defeat, when the BJP lost so badly, another defeat for the BJP would show that it has several Achilles heels.
Let me bring in Manoj Jha. Manoj, I don't know whether you like to be called of the RJD. I presume at least at one time you were very clear that you're part of the RJD, and we are going to call you an RJD spokesperson. You're certainly an RJD supporter. Do you believe, Manoj Jha, that as of now, its advantage...
No, I am...
Yes, go ahead. Yes, Manoj?
No. Actually, I'm the official national so-called spokesperson for the RJD, and I remain so.
Okay.
I remain so in spite of losing 2-3 elections. I mean, certain commitments don't change.
Okay, I'm going to ask you therefore, if those commitments don't change, what really has changed in Bihar since the Lok Sabha election? The Lok Sabha elections, BJP won 22 seats with 29.86% of the votes. The RJD won just 4 seats. JDU won just 2 seats. Now, what has changed in 18 months? Isn't there a sense that you're actually fighting with your backs to the wall? You're desperate, which is your desperation has led you to join Nitish Kumar, the same person about whom Lalu Prasad once was extremely contemptuous almost.
Rajdeep, many things have changed. Let me accept that. And who can understand it better? You have written a book on the last election. I mean, we believe that the photo frame of the politics has changed. I have no doubt in saying that yes, we had differences, fundamental ones. But do you want politics not to be a dynamic entity? We never thought that we would have a regime where, say, any dissent, any disagreement will be criminalized. We have been watching it. Now we had 2 options, either to remain confined to our, say, major minor differences, or probably stitch a larger alliance and tell the people, those 69% who did not vote for Mr. Modi, that yes, politics is alive, hope should be alive, and that is the reason our backs are not to the wall. You know, I'm not boasting it.
Manoj,
I was listening to Jyoti ji. I'm not only talking about the arithmetic. I'm talking about the psychological advantage we have. We were the first one to come up with a leader. We were the first one to come up with a program and a vision for Bihar. I think BJP is struggling to find even one answer to 3-4 most important fundamental questions for fighting any election.
You know, the interesting point is, I remember Lalu once telling me, "Aisa koi nahi saga jisko Nitish ne nahi thaga." Now that was Lalu Prasad not too long ago. The point though is, you're saying arithmetic is with you, but the chemistry surely of Bihar, Manoj, is looking for change. The BJP's agenda is parivartan, Bihar badlo. You've had 15 years of Lalu Prasad and 10 years of Nitish Kumar. The BJP is saying it's time for a change. Would you concede that while the arithmetic is with you, the chemistry at the moment is slightly with the Narendra Modi, Amit Shah combined?
I tell you, I mean, probably because it is Narendra Modi, Amit Shah kind of combine the BJP which we see today. I tell you, Rajdeep, I am not saying this just for the sake of. Largely BJP leaders, some of them shall be very happy. And one of them has told me that it shall help my party to evolve for the better. You know, somewhere...
What? If the BJP loses?
When you talk about chemistry...
Hold on. Are you saying that BJP leaders want the BJP to lose? Are you saying BJP leaders want the BJP to lose?
A section of...
Name them.
A
Name
section
them.
of BJP believes that there are, and they have spoken about it, there are emergency-like situation. I mean, I'm telling you, there are emergency-like situation. In fact, a strong opposition is the need of hour. A strong opposition should help the democracy move further. This present dispensation is basically believes in criminalizing disagreement, and that there the journey of Bihar begins. And that is why it's going to be a change in Bihar. I tell you, it's going to be governance which does not scare people. A development which is not confined to the western coast of this country. A development which is inclusive in nature. And thus I believe that Bihar is going to make a decisive impact for national politics.
Okay, it's going to make a decisive impact. Rohit, you're there in Patna. Over the last month, it's the BJP which has led, at least in terms of rallies. You've had the Prime Minister do 4 major rallies, Maha rallies as they call them, and you've had a big rally that Nitish Kumar, Sonia Gandhi, Lalu Prasad, and interestingly even Shivpal Yadav of the Samajwadi Party were present before the Samajwadi Party backed out, that they had about 10 days ago. At the moment, in terms of the mahal of Bihar, what's the mood on the ground? Are people excited about this election, or are they saying nothing will ever change in Bihar? Is there a sense of excitement, anticipation about this election?
Well, absolutely, Rajiv. There is a sense of excitement and anticipation also, and that is not just among the people in Bihar, but also the netas are also very enthusiastic, because keeping in mind the 2010 elections, if you compare with 2010, the entire dynamics of politics in Bihar has changed. In fact, Lalu Prasad Yadav was at that point of time with Ram Vilas Paswan. Today, Lalu Yadav is with Nitish Kumar, and Ram Vilas Paswan has gone to BJP when Nitish Kumar was with BJP at that point of time. So everything has completely changed in the last 5 years. So you really cannot rely on numbers. If you say that I'm cynical, but you cannot rely on numbers, because the caste combinations have also changed. Now you have that 15 to 20% of the Maji Mahadalit vote bank that was with Nitish Kumar. Nitish Kumar enjoyed that vote bank, but now that vote bank has completely shifted towards BJP, because Manji is now in the NDA camp. So there is excitement. Rallies are taking place. We saw that Prime Minister, for the first time, that a Prime Minister had to hold 4 Parivartan rallies even before the dates of elections were announced. So this gives a sense that how important, how critical is Bihar for a BJP-led NDA.
Who's won that battle of rallies, Rohit? You were there at both those rallies. Who seemed to have the greater number and the more spontaneous connect?
Well, absolutely. There's no doubting the fact that there are people who are turning out at the Prime Minister's rally, because he held 4 rallies. One was in Muzaffarpur, the second one was at the Gaya, the third at Saharsa, and the fourth one was also in Bhagalpur. There was a massive turnout that took place. But we also say that at the Swabhiman rally that took place of the Grand Alliance, there was also a massive turnout that took place at the Gandhi Maidan. So it's like a 50-50 situation at this point of time. Really, you cannot say that okay, this party is going to win or not. But obviously, the momentum at this point of time seems to be with the BJP, because the Prime Minister himself is leading from the front.
You know, it's interesting, Jyoti, the Prime Minister leading from the front, and you made this point about, this election is critical for Narendra Modi and Amit Shah also, particularly after the defeat in Delhi. There also the Prime Minister had staked a lot. He came out, did rallies himself in Delhi, and eventually was swept out. Yeah. Have they learned their lessons? Are you getting a sense that the BJP has learned its lessons from what went wrong in Delhi, and perhaps this time are crafting a strategy more inclined to a larger state? I mean, Delhi was a small, almost municipal-sized state. Now you need a party machinery of the kind that Amit Shah showed he could exploit in UP. Do you believe that for Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Amit Shah in particular, this is a do or die battle? They cannot afford to lose Bihar, because then you have a more difficult 2016 ahead of you?
Absolutely. They simply cannot afford to lose Bihar, as you said. And last year, because they won Bihar and they did so well, they won 22 out of 40 seats. In a sense, they do know Bihar, but I think as the cliche goes, they are not leaving any stone unturned. And by that, what I mean is that they're putting all the elements together. So you have the caste, element, and you've got Manjhi on your side now. He is an ally. You have the whole Parivartan card, the whole card of development and governance. And the point that you made earlier, Rajdeep, I think that is a very, very strong card. Even though in the last about 15 months, all of us in Delhi have been very critical, or some of us have been very critical of the Modi government, and in the sense that it hasn't delivered. But back in Patna, and I think and I was there in Patna some days ago, I think people are still willing to give him a chance, and they're saying, listen, this man turned around Gujarat. I think let's give him a chance for India, and let's give him a chance for Bihar. So that is definitely there. But having said that, I'd also like to say that so far the BJP hasn't announced its chief ministerial candidate. कौन बनेगा मुख्यमंत्री बिहार का? You have so many candidates.
No, let's be fair. They didn't do that in Maharashtra.
Absolutely.
They didn't do that in Haryana, and it worked for them. They did it in Delhi, and it didn't work for them. So it appears that they are not going to announce a chief ministerial candidate at the moment. But that caste arithmetic, let's be very clear, Manoj Jha, the fact is, let's assume for a moment that the Yadavs and the Muslim, your original MY combination is with the RJD. The critical factor in this election is not just the upper caste, but where this election will be won or lost will be the Dalits, and more importantly, the Ati Pichras, or the most backward castes, the MBCs, the extremely backward castes. Now, this was the caste which Nitish had wooed actively, but this time the BJP is wooing it extremely consciously. They've reached out and had Teli rallies. They've had rallies of the Koiri Samaj, of the Nishads, of the Kushwas already are with them. Would you concede that this time that is the one Achilles heel that could be your downfall and could give advantage BJP?
Rajdeep, I tell you, something which actually I abhor when people talk about Bihar. They make a binary of caste versus development. I mean, when we talk about acute discrimination, lack of access, opportunity emanating out of caste, this is not caste or casteism. This is basically asking to broaden the horizon of development so that development is not faceless.
Ja, for 15 years, Lalu ran a caste alliance of Muslims and Yadavs. Today, you are turning around and telling me you cannot discuss it through the prism of past. Let's be clear. The MY alliance brought you to power through much of the 90s. And you relied on Mahadalits, who have now possibly gone with Jitan Ram Majhi towards the BJP. And you are losing, importantly, the non-Yadav, non-Kurmi backward castes. That's the critical one.
Rajdeep, unlike some of other anchors, at least you give a chance to respond to multiple questions put in one. I'm just asking for, I'm just submitting the very, very important fact which people generally ignore. I think in the narrative you miss that there is this Ranveer Sena, and BJP is very strongly identified with the birth, the genesis and the growth of Ranveer Sena. People during the 90s, we were a student, we still remember those days. Now, how do you expect a Jitan Ram Majhi walking to NDA fold will make sure that the Musar community who have been the victim, or the Dalits who have been the victim, shall follow the same narrative? I think, and secondly, Jyoti ji spoke about Gujarat turnaround. I think Hardik Patel has ruptured the seamless narrative of Gujarat model of development. And on a lighter note, Rajdeep, when reporters from Patna elsewhere report about a particular phenomena whose rally was powerful, there is this historian called E.H. Carr. He told us that when you read a book, first read author's bio. That will tell you a lot about qualified subjectivity.
Okay, let's leave it there for a moment. You're almost suggesting as if journalists in Patna are divided also in the manner in which politicians in Bihar are divided. But there is no state. There is no state in the country which is as politicized as Bihar. Everyone in Bihar has an opinion. Everyone in Bihar has an opinion, and a rather strong one at that, which is why Bihar becomes such a fascinating politics state. If politics is on the retreat in other parts of the country, in Bihar it is alive and kicking. So the next 2 months will be completely focused on the battle for Bihar. Let's take a break. When we return, we'll be going straight to that Election Commission press conference. Remember, elections likely over the period just before Dussehra, heading into Diwali. This is now the battle for Patliputra. Back in a moment.